Welcome to Collecting Chaos and another Talking Points video. Before we get started, I guess I gotta prove something. Yes, Internet, I own a graded comic. It's graded a 9.6 with white pages. I have no idea what the pages actually look like, but if I were grading this comic, I wouldn't have given it a 9.6, wouldn't have given it a 9.4, wouldn't have given it a 9.0. I might have gone 8.5. I'm just not impressed. Okay, yeah, this is only one comic, so I don't have a lot of experience with graded books. But this one comic tells me that I don't particularly like graded comics, because what can I do? I guess it would make an okay tray. You know, you could have a sandwich off of it or something like that, but I can't feel the comic. I can't smell the comic. I can't touch it. And what's more, if I hold it a certain way, it looks like there's actually moisture inside of the plastic that the comic is sealed in. So I'm going to have to get this out of here before it damages the comic. Yeah, I will be cracking this open before too long, simply because I don't want the comic damaged. Now, I only paid $25 for it. That's a lot more than the comic's worth, but the slabbing is worth that, I figured, so why not? Yeah. So yeah, I actually do own a slabbed comic, and everybody told me if I bought one, then I'd want all my comics slabbed. Well, I own one, and I don't want any more of them slabbed. Now, while I'm talking to you, I'm going to show you a few Wolverine comics. We did this before. I had a big stack of Wolverine. Well, I still have a big stack of Wolverine to go. And these are comics that I never actually collected. They just kind of accumulated. And so we'll kick it off with number 99, and the subject is why, not why do we collect, how do we collect? What kind of a collector are you? Are you a hoarder? Do you buy comics and never intend to sell them? You'll keep them the rest of your life and pass them on to your children and their children or whatever. Are you a speculator? Do you buy comics with the intent to sell them at a later date, hopefully making a profit? Do you buy multiple copies just so that you can increase the possibility of making more money? Are you a flipper? Flipper, for me, that's somebody that buys a comic and sells it right away, hopefully for a profit. They're flipping books to make money, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's their style. That's what they want to do. There's nothing wrong with speculating on a comic. You could say that I've speculated on every comic I buy, because someday I will start selling them off. Simply because I don't think my grandchildren are going to want them. I know my kids don't, so I figure my grandkids probably don't either. So I will eventually sell them off, probably to help fund my retirement. Let me play with my focus a little bit here, and maybe even bring it in a little bit, zoom it in a little bit, play with focus. So that makes me a speculator. By the same token, I'm a hoarder because I collect and I don't like to sell them. I want to keep them as long as possible. Is hoarding comics bad? No. Absolutely not. Think about it. Where would we be without comic hoarders? where would all of the pedigree collections come from if there were no comic hoarders? So, yeah, there's lots of different types of collectors, and every one of them is important to the hobby. Every one of them gives meaning to the hobby. So, when I say there's no wrong way to collect, I mean there's no wrong way to collect, because you're collecting for different reasons. And there's as many reasons to collect as there are collectors. Hoarder, accumulator, speculator, flipper. I've been all of them at one time or the other. Yes, I have bought comics and turned around and sold them right away. Matter of fact, the last time I owned a Hulk 181, I paid $25 for it. I sold it for $40. 1 day later. It was a very good copy. The value was probably about 120, 130. I wasn't worried about that. What I was worried about was making a little bit of money and giving someone a good deal on their Grail comic. I knew it was their Grail comic. When I bought that comic, I bought it specifically so I could turn around and sell it to that person. And I did. And he was happy, and I was happy. So it all worked out good. So everybody's important. Every collector is important. I was thinking maybe I want to talk about grading, but I'm going to leave that for another day. Because I'm thinking about that Wonder Woman annual, and it just ticks me off that a professional grading service graded at a 9.6, and I wouldn't give it above an 8.5. And might even consider it an 8.0. Here's the comic everybody wants to see. Wolverine number 131. Yes, it's exactly what you think it is. It is the recalled one. And so is this one, and 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 that one. The last two have a little bit of, actually the last three have a little bit of damage up top. All of these are the recalled. Now I'm going to show you the difference. It's a bigger difference than people think. This has some damage on it. Yeah, might have to give that one away. This one actually, I'm going to show you the difference, and the difference I'm going to show you has nothing to do with the inside of the comic. The difference I'm showing you is on the back. Take a look at this one. See how blue it is? And look at this one. The blue on this one is a lot darker than the blue on this one. And I don't know if you can see it or not. It's really apparent to me with my lights and everything. And this is the replacement copy. It says the killer known as Sabretooth, unlike the other one that says something else. And I have two copies of that. So I think that's enough. I still have a stack of Wolverine down here, but I don't feel like looking at it anymore. I'm not the biggest Wolverine fan in the world. And plus my last video was 30 minutes, and I don't want to make this one 30 minutes. So with that said, take care of yourself. Pay attention to people when they tell you to keep some distance between yourself and some other people until all this other stuff is gone with. And no matter what, Even once everything's all over with, wash your hands. Washing your hands is the best way to protect your comic books, as well as your health. So washing your hands makes for a healthy body, makes for healthy comics. Bye.